some reason, because YouTube is weird now, you have to hit the go live button and all that. It used to be automatic. So, all right, now we should be up on YouTube. So give it just a second and we should be up and going now. Okay, it's up. Awesome. So there we go. I just got the notification from it here, guys. So we're now live on YouTube. I do apologize for that. We should be live on Twitter as well. I know the Roku and Fire TV thing right down here with the bandwidth and all that. We'll address all that later on. But my folks out here in southwestern Arkansas, make sure that you're taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible here. Now, I do have some good news. Some good news with this. The further north and east it moves, the more it gets away from the instability, and then that's where you're going to lose that tornado threat here. But as long as it stays along and south of that boundary, it will carry a significant tornado threat. I'm going to make that clear. Any storms that form along the boundary and south will carry a strong tornado threat today. That's just how it's going to be. That sets our environment up for tomorrow, which is already a day 2 moderate. I don't know. I haven't read too much into tomorrow yet. We'll talk more about that once we get past this tornado warning. And then we have another threat on Saturday that is already a level 3 enhanced risk that could potentially go moderate too. So lots of weather coming our way, not only with the severe weather, but also the flooding threat that will start to pile up across our area as we move into late week and early this weekend. So just lots to talk about right now here. But for right now, tornado warning remains in effect for our folks down here in Miller County at this current point. Let's go ahead and I'm going to switch this over to our NORAD product. I thought I had it on here. Apparently I don't, so give me just a second. Apparently hang on, let me see something real quick. I thought I had this set up to do that. Oh, yep, we do. Sweet. All right, so what we're gonna look at right now here is what's called the potential tornado debris signature. And right now, just looking at this, give me 1 second. Let's go to it real quick. I'm not seeing it, which is great news. That means there's no tornado debris signature. There's nothing on the ground per radar, but that doesn't mean that you do not need to seek shelter here. So what we can do is go over to our NORAD. Right now, the area of rotation looks pretty weak down here. It was enough to warrant a tornado warning for Miller County, but right now, not seeing any indication that this thing is on the ground at this point. But we're going to keep an eye on it here because I do see a little bit of concern. We can kind of match that back up with our rotation, which is right here. I do see a little bit of concern right in there. I'm gonna put our rotation tracker on. So give us just 1 second. I'm gonna put it right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back over to the CC drop. And I do see that. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Right now, I haven't heard anything about anything being on the ground or anything like that, which is great news. But I am going to keep an eye on that here. So we're going to go back over to our other radar real quick. And that area of rotation is going to be right in here. So we're going to go ahead and put the rotation up real quick. It looks like it just moved to the east here. So that's going to be right over here. Any one of these areas, make sure you take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible. Get to that, like I said, to that center lowest part. Put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible. Grab a helmet, grab a mattress, something to protect your head, because whenever you deal with a situation that you get hit or something like that, this is the most vulnerable area. You know, you can protect your chest, you can protect your legs, stuff like that, but this is the most vulnerable area. Your head is most vulnerable to damage. So you want to make sure you have something to kind of like a pillow or a mattress or a helmet, something to protect yourself from that potential here, okay? So my folks in the Falk area, this is the area of rotation. It's going to continue to move to the north and east. Like I mentioned before, as long as we can get these storms north of the boundary, we won't have to worry about too big of a tornado threat with these storms. As long as they stay south of the boundary, that is where you're going to run into some issues here. So we've got the boundary drawn out, by the way. You can see the area of rotation is just north of said boundary, but I want to urge caution. This boundary is coming back to the north. It is rapidly moving to the north here. So we can have a situation, I don't want to scare anybody, but we have a situation like what happened in 2014 where you had a supercell latch onto the boundary and produce a significant tornado here. So like I said, 2 different events, but this is kind of eerily similar to that because you are dealing with a warm front Fortunately for us, the warm front is much further south than it was in 2014. For those that are going to try to figure it out, it's going to be the Mayflower along your tornado setup. Like I said, my folks in Central Arkansas, every event is different. And it's just the similarities between these two because you're dealing with a warm front with both setups. So my folks down here in Miller County, once again, Southwest Arkansas, take your tornado precautions immediately at this current time. I'm double checking a lot of things right now, making sure. Let me see here. Okay, so YouTube is up. We're good to go. Okay, so Aaron says it is 80 degrees. He is in Taylor, by the way. It's 80 degrees down there. So you're south of the boundary. As long if you go outside right now, like you see here in Little Rock, it's 57 degrees. You go outside, it's cool. You're not going to have a tornado threat. Okay, as long as you are north of that boundary, you are safe from the tornado threat. However, if you are south of said boundary, that is where you're going to have that tornado threat. Kind of like what Aaron just mentioned. He's at 80 degrees right now. He is where that significant tornado threat is right now. For us here in Little Rock, it's 57. Yes, it looks gloomy. It looks like it's, Armageddon's about to happen outside because it just looks very dark and stormy outside. As long as we stay north of the boundary, I promise you guys, we are going to be good to go. Up here in Central Arkansas, North Arkansas, Northeast, Northwest Arkansas, this will mainly be a southern and southeastern problem for today here, okay? So give me 1 second. We got a new update with the tornado warning here. Still going to continue until 4:30 this evening. It looks like the area of rotation is starting to die off because it's north of the boundary. Like I said, today's setup, pay attention to where the boundary is. If you are north of the boundary, don't freak out about the tornado threat. I promise you, you're going to be just fine. If you're south of the boundary, that is where you're going to be in the danger zone for the tornado threat as we move into the day. And I understand. I don't want anyone getting offended by that. I know it's easier said than done to calm down, but I'm telling you guys, as long as you are north of the boundary and you walk outside and it feels cold, you're good. You're going to be good. But as long as you are south of that boundary, that is where that's where the danger zone is, and that's where that significant tornado threat is going to be as we move into later on this evening and into tonight here. Okay, so looks like they have a severe thunderstorm warning that is tornado possible. It goes until 4:45. This tornado warning is going to remain in effect until 4:30. There's the area of rotation. We're going to zoom down on said rotation here. It looks like it's going to go right over County Road 80, that's County Road 1 down here, and that's going to be County Road 31. This is in far southwestern Miller County. What we're going to do as well is I'm going to put on the interstate and the state roads down here. So give me just 1 second, Rooney. There we go. All right, should be coming up here in just a little bit. So there's going to be Interstate 49, okay, and then that's Highway 71. So the area of rotation right now is just to the west of County Road 80 or just southwest of County Road 1 down here. This is in Miller County. Once again, my folks down here in southwestern Arkansas, let's go ahead and look at the rotation strength real quickly here. And this is some good news here. The rotation strength you can see on our scale, weak, strong, extreme. Last night with the Lake City tornado, you were up here with the extreme. Now you're in the weak area with this area of rotation down here in southwest Arkansas. So if we can get this sucker north of the boundary, this will become a hail and a wind problem only. You will not have a tornado threat here as long as you stay north of the boundary. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain that because I know I'm not even looking in the comments, but there's going to be somebody that's going to ask, why are we not in a tornado threat for north of the boundary? I'm going to go ahead and explain that to you. Give me just 1 second. Let me get the track. 1 second. It's moving at 25 miles per hour. I'm going to leave this up, okay? So here's your boundary. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn on your wind profiles, okay? So you notice you're south of the boundary. Your winds are coming out of the south-southeast. That is warm, humid air coming in on the other side of the boundary. But if you're on a north side of the boundary, that includes Little Rock, Hot Springs, all the areas that are storm weary right now, you have a north-northeast wind. Now, yes, we have enough aloft instability to support a hail and wind threat, and you are going to have severe storms up here with mainly a hail and wind threat. But as long as you stay north of that boundary, it will only be a wind and hail threat. You will not have a tornado threat as long as you stay north of this said boundary right in here. My folks in El Dorado, Hamburg, Crossit, Lake Village, Monticello, this is where your tornado threat is going to be today until this boundary starts to lift back to the north. And it will move back to the north late tonight and into your Friday. But right now, this is where your boundary at this point. Notice where your tornado warning is. Your tornado warning is just north of said boundary. So what's going to happen is it's going to move into Miller County, Hempstead County, Nevada County, and it's going to be mainly a wind and hail threat as long as it stays north of the boundary. And if it stays along and south, that is where your tornado threat is going to be at its highest today. So that's kind of the setup that is in place for today here. So the tornado warning still remains in effect until 4:30 for our folks in Miller County. What I'm going to do as well is we're going to kind of zoom this out, kind of give you guys a statewide view of what's going on right now. And we're going to take a look at a couple things here. So I'm going to turn off this, okay, and we're going to kind of leave the radar up here because it's kind of a mess right now. I'm also going to take off the rows so the overall image kind of looks a little less complicated here. So you got a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity across central Arkansas here. This is a very, like I said before, it's going to be a very stormy day regardless if you are north or south of the boundary. All of this activity up here is not tornadic. I want to make this crystal clear. None of this activity up here. That's my folks in Central, Hot Springs, Russellville, Searcy, Jonesboro, Mountain Home, Pocahontas, Cave City, all these folks up here that have been dealing with severe weather. None of this activity is tornadic. Now, it is going to be loud. It's going to sound like severe weather. None of this activity is tornadic. If you walk outside and it's in the 50s and it feels very cool to you, you are north of the boundary, you're good to go. My folks further to the south, now Union County, Bradley County, Drew County, Deshay County, Chico and Ashley counties, even Lafayette County and Miller counties now, that is where that tornado threat is going to be at its highest because you are south of the boundary now. If you walk outside and it's warm and it's humid and it feels like severe weather, kind of how it felt yesterday, that's where that severe threat is going to materialize down there in southern Arkansas. But everybody else north of the boundary, I'm just reassuring a lot of people that have anxiety right now, it's going to sound stormy, it's going to sound loud, it's not tornadic whatsoever. If it was tornadic, I would be the first one to tell you. But right now, this is mainly going to pose a wind and hail threat up here in central and in the northern Arkansas. This is where your tornado threat is going to be highest down here in southern and southwestern Arkansas at this current point. Tornado warning still remains in effect for our folks down there in Miller County. It's going to go until 4:30. That area rotation we're keeping an eye on is going to move towards the Falk area, just south of Texarkana and just to the west of Magnolia along Highway 82. And it's going to continue to move to the northeast here. But I will show you guys this too, and I can show you guys the current temperatures here. So let's do this. So I think that might put a lot of minds to ease right now here, okay? So let me turn off the radar, okay? And what I'm going to do, if you give me just 1 second, I'm going to take care of something real quick, okay? And we're going to do this, okay? So I'm leaving the alerts on, and you guys see all the arrows and stuff like that. That's your wind direction right now, okay? So you notice something. You're much cooler up here in central Arkansas. There's actually temperatures up here right now that are in the 40s. If you're in the 40s right now, you are definitely not getting a tornado risk. But a lot of cool, stable air up here in central and north Arkansas right now. But you notice the moment you move into the southern part of the state, you notice how your temperatures down here in Louisiana are a lot warmer. You've got temperatures in the 80s. You got temperatures down here in the 70s and 80s as well. This boundary right in here, as long as storms stay north of said boundary, no tornado threat whatsoever. Hail and wind threat, that's it. South of the boundary, down here in Louisiana, down here in southern and southeastern Arkansas, that's where your tornado threat is going to be at its highest here. You can see this tornado warning itself is moving into that cooler and more stable air mass here. So much of the state right now is very cool. You have a lot of cloud cover. You had a lot of rain today. This is what we wanted. We talked about this last night. We've talked about this last couple of days. You want as much rainfall as possible to try to suppress this boundary. Unfortunately, with the storm system, a powerful storm system coming in the next couple of days, your boundary is going to naturally lift back to the north here. But this is just giving much of Arkansas a break for today, except for our folks down there in southern and southwestern Arkansas here, okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to take all of this off, and I'm going to turn the radar back on here. It looks like they did extend this severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. It's going to move for our folks in Nevada, Hempstead, Little River, northwestern Columbia, Lafayette, and Miller counties here. I don't think they're planning on extending this tornado warning into this area here. So what will happen is, once that tornado warning has expired, we are going to kind of talk about the other graphics, kind of talk about timing and all the other good stuff. This was originally supposed to be a quick Q&A before things started taking off here, but I don't know why I keep timing Q&As with tornado warnings here, but that's just the situation we got ourselves into, you guys. So I'm going to go back here. We're going to go over to the current Doppler radar here that's down here in Shreveport, and we're going to take a look at this, okay? So right now, it's along the boundary. As long as this stays north of the boundary, this will not pose a significant tornado risk here. But folks that are along the boundary down here, you are going to have to watch this situation closely. Now, I want to make this clear as well, because there's going to be someone in the comments that's going to be like, you know, it's storming outside. I got a severe thunderstorm warning. You said no severe weather. No, I said no tornado threat. You're going to still have a severe threat north of the boundary, because you're going to have a wind and a hail threat regardless of where you are on the boundary, either north or south of the boundary. You're going to have that tornado threat, okay? Well, not the tornado threat, the wind and hail threat, okay? But as long as you stay north of that boundary, you're going to be good to go here, okay? And I also want to make this clear as well. I know there's going to be someone in the comments, stuff like that, that's going to post false tornado reports and everything like that. Folks, anxiety is already through the roof in this state. I want to make this crystal clear. Stop trying to post fake tornado reports. Just go ahead and stop. It's just, there's no need for it. The anxiety is already through the roof in this state. We don't need false reporting. I got an entire team that is going to be letting me know if they hear anything via the National Weather Service here. If I don't hear anything from the National Weather Service, it is not true. I want to make that clear. Folks, if you are north of the boundary, you do not have a tornado threat today. It will mainly be a hail and a wind threat. I want to make that crystal clear. I completely understand. It looks stormy outside. It looks tornadic outside and everything like that. I know it's been a long last couple of days. Folks, if there was a tornado threat up here, I would be the first one to tell you. There'd be no reason for me to hide this information from you, okay? If you're north of the boundary, you walk outside and you need a jacket, you're not going to have a tornado threat. It is mainly going to be for our folks down in southern and southeastern Arkansas here, okay? I want to make that crystal clear, because the anxiety is already through the roof as it is. We do not need false reporting, guys. Only reporting that comes from the National Weather Service or certified storm spotters in the area here. And right now, with it being north of the boundary, you're not going to get a tornado threat up here. So, my folks in southern Arkansas, this is where your tornado threat is going to be. As long as you are south of that boundary, that's where your tornado threat is going to be at this current point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a track of this entire storm, and I'm going to move it to the north at about 40 miles per hour here. Okay, so Stamps, Taylor, Waldo, the Hope area, Magnolia, which was Caldwell, Stevens. Make sure if you know anyone in these areas, even north of this, mainly a hail and wind threat. As long as this can stay along and north of the boundary, it's going to be mainly a hail and wind threat. But as long as that area of rotation remains south of the boundary, that is where you're going to have that tornado threat as we move later on into the day here, guys. Okay, so that one is riding along. Okay, so that one is riding along the boundary. Is it the one that the Pine Bluff one, or the one down here? Because I see the one down here. The Pine Bluff one is riding along the boundary. So that mainly should be a hail and wind threat, but we're going to have to keep an eye on it here. But right now, that's where that tornado warning storm is down here in Miller and Lafayette County. But as long as these storms stay along and north of the boundary, it's mainly going to be a hail and wind threat. It's the ones that south of the boundary is where you're going to have to watch for that tornado threat as we move into later on this afternoon and into this evening here. So right now, tornado warning still remains in effect. Looks like they're going to replace that tornado warning here with a severe thunderstorm warning here, tornado possible for Miller, Lafayette, Nevada, and also Hempstead counties down here in southwestern Arkansas here. So we're going to continue the live coverage for the tornado warning. Once this tornado warning has expired, we are going to talk about timing here because I want to say, regardless, that boundary is going to move north. I mean, the boundary is eventually going to move north of the state, kind of setting you up for the severe threat for tomorrow, which is a level 4 moderate risk for us here in Arkansas. So this boundary is not going to stay down here in South Arkansas the entire time. It will move back north overnight and into your Friday morning here, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at this storm. Let's kind of investigate it a little bit. Let's take a look at the rotation. Right now, the area of rotation looks like it's right here along, that's going to be County Road 6, County Road 413, just east of County Road 34. This is south of the community of Falk. And it looks like the newest scan here, the rotation is becoming a lot less organized now, which is great news. But we're going to continue to kind of keep an eye on things here. So what I'm going to do, give me just 1 second. I'm going to pull something up here. And I'm going to kind of take a look at where the exact boundary is right now. And it looks like right now, just based off of the analysis from WPC, the boundary is in South Arkansas right now. It is riding along the Arkansas-Louisiana border. Looks like the boundary is kind of right up there near Pine Bluff. And then it moves into northwestern Mississippi and into Tennessee here, guys. So I'm just double checking a couple of things here. Just looking at something real fast here. Just kind of getting a reading on where this exact boundary is right now. Yep, and that confirms it. The boundary right now would be from just south of Texarkana. Let's see, that's going to be moving up into, that's moving up just north of along Pine Bluff and in that area here. So right now, much of the area is north of the boundary. Temperatures are in the 50s, dew points are in the 40s. Just looking at current analysis right now, this is where your boundary is at this point. I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to try to get this up for you guys here on air so we can draw and see where the boundary is at this point. So if you give me just 1 second, I will get that taken care of here so we can kind of take a look at this. So this is going to be the latest analysis here. Give me 1 second here. And I'm not ignoring the tornado warning down here as well. Oh wow, Chandler, I just saw that map for tomorrow. We're going to talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. That is rather significant, your tornado threat for tomorrow. So I'm going to get that up coming up here in just a little bit. Okay, all right, I'm going to have to, all right, I'll look at it when we get to the Q&A section of this here, but tornado warning still remains in effect. That's going to go until 4:30, next 6 minutes, and then what's going to happen is this is going to become a wind and hail threat. The tornado tag with the severe thunderstorm warning is still there because of the rotation, because your boundary is moving north. But it's going to take time for that to happen here, okay? So, folks in Miller County, Lafayette County, Hempstead County, and Nevada County down here, and even in Columbia County, make sure, regardless of the tornado threat here, you're paying attention to the hail and wind threat, because these storms, once they get north of the boundary, yes, it kills the tornado threat. Your damaging hail threat is still there. You're still going to carry a rather significant hail threat with these storms as they move to the north here. So, I'm going to zoom this out, kind of give you guys a perspective of how that looks across the state right now here. I'm going to turn all this off, and I'm going to put it back to the kind of the national radar right now here. And this is what's going on here. So like I said, things look stormy right now coming into central Arkansas. I want to reassure you, hail and wind threat only, not a tornado threat up here in Little Rock. Going to keep an eye on these storms near Jefferson County, Arkansas County, etc. But right now, your boundary is down here in southwestern Arkansas at this point. So give me just a second. And let me see here. Okay. All right, so there we go. So like I said, right now, mainly a wind and hail threat up here in central Arkansas. And then you have that tornado threat down here and far southern and southeastern Arkansas at this current time here, okay? So let's zoom this out. Just kind of play this radar here. Like I said before, just kind of waiting until this tornado warning drops, and then I'm going to go over timing, and then I'm going to try to pull up some questions as well, trying to make this at least a little bit of a Q&A. As long as we don't have any ongoing tornado warnings here, then we'll break away, kind of get ourselves reset, get our crew in from the evening, and then we'll give you guys coverage tonight, kind of talking to you guys about what's going on across the board here, okay? So right now, a lot of heavy rain, and I want to stress this as well too. A lot of people are focused on the tornado threat. I want to make this clear. The flooding threat will start to become life-threatening as we move into tomorrow, we move into Friday, we move into Saturday. The flooding threat will start to become life-threatening here. Flooding should never be ignored whatsoever, and I get it. Everybody on social media likes to post about tornadoes and stuff like that, but the flooding is where it gets you. The flooding leads the nation right now in deaths. That's why we're so concerned about the flooding threat. So don't ignore the flooding threat over the next couple of days. We've caught a little bit of a reprieve right now because obviously things were dry. We had that wildfire problem earlier in March. It's going to take some time for that ground to get a little bit more saturated. And we're getting these in rounds instead of all at once. Unfortunately, the next couple of days, you're going to have round after round after round after round of heavy thunderstorms. That's where that flooding threat is really going to start to materialize across the area. Once this live stream is over, I will kind of look at rainfall totals and kind of break down a couple of things here in terms of that. So right now, we're just kind of biding our time. Chandler, I know people can't hear you. Have you heard anything? Is there any reports or anything like that? Not sure if they're going to extend this tornado warning or not. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So, yeah, we got that tornado warning down here in southwestern Arkansas and near Miller and Lafayette counties. And like I said before, we're going to continue to monitor it. Looks like there's another cell that's trying to get going down here in East Texas, Louisiana. We're going to keep an eye on these cells. But right now, as long as it stays north of the boundary, we're going to be solid here. So, we're going to watch this as it moves into Hempstead County. Mainly going to be a wind and hail threat regardless of the tornado threat. As a matter of fact, looks like it is starting to get a hail core just to the southeast of Falk or southwest of the Louisville area here. Like a hail core is trying to develop in this area. So that's what we talked about. As long as it stays north of the boundary, your tornado threat is going to get wiped out. Your significant hail threat will be there. And that's what's going to have to be watched as we move into later on this afternoon and into this evening here. So just double checking a couple more things. Looks like right now I haven't seen anything right now here. Okay, so looks like we're good. All right, so let me see here. I think we're good. Media reports here. Got some hail in Pine Bluff. Obviously, the tornado from yesterday here. I think that got preliminarily rated as an EF3 up there. I've been focusing on resting today, so I haven't really caught. I'm still catching up on all the news and all the reports and all the other stuff from today here. So I got preliminarily. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back over. Tornado warning has been dropped, by the way. They are not going to extend it because it's north, because like we mentioned before, it's north of the boundary. So we are going to kind of keep an eye on this particular storm here in Pine Bluff, Jefferson, Arkansas, Perry, and also Lonoke County. I know it has a hook. I want to make this clear. North of the boundary, north of the boundary, north of the boundary. You're going to hear me say that over and over and over again today because that's the setup that is in place. Let's take a look at your current hail size here. And if it doesn't work on this product, I can switch it over to 2 and we can take a look at it from here because that's going to be this storm right in here. Looks like, yeah, we do have a report of 2.5 inch hail from this storm in the Pine Bluff area. So we can take a look. Let me go to your maximum hail size here. And yeah, it looks like there is still a hail core near the just southwest of Humphrey. Looks like there is a hail core still in here that's about just under 1 inch in diameter hail. But early on, it could have had a much bigger hail core. So it looks like it's getting further to the north. Mainly going to be a hail and a wind threat with this here. And like I said, I understand. I know it's showing rotation, but I'm stressing right now, as long as it stays north of the boundary up here, you are going to be good to go here. But we are going to kind of keep an eye on things because it is riding along that boundary. It is showing rotation here. That's going to be for our folks in that's going to be in Jefferson and Arkansas County. Right now, not tornado warning or anything like that. The live stream is going to continue regardless because we're going to try to some sort of Q&A here. But if this does go to warn, we will keep an eye on it here. But right now, mainly a flood. And I will say this, your flooding threat is starting to increase more and more and more in these areas here. And also, I want to make this clear too, those weather apps. Lord, we've had so many people come to us saying that these weather apps are saying rotation here, rotation there, rotation here, rotation there. Folks, I would not be sitting here, saying that there's not a tornado threat north of the boundary if it wasn't true. We go live for every single severe tornado warning that happens. We are in communication with the National Weather Service. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys ever see this on air. Did I wear this earpiece? That's my link to my guys that communicates to me back and forth. We have people that have access, talk to the National Weather Service, stuff like that. Unless they are planning on going on to warn, we're not worried about it. Okay, so I want to make that crystal clear. Those weather apps, they're going to show rotation every single storm. That's just how it's going to be. But as long as you stay north of the boundary, you are going to be good to go for today. Mainly a wind and hail threat and a flooding threat. South of the boundary is where your tornado threat is going to be materializing. So right now, with the tornado warning that has been dropped, I know it's still torpause down here in southwestern Arkansas. We are going to kind of switch things to more of a Q&A versus live coverage right now here. So you guys just bear me for just a minute. I think is it this one? Yep, it sure is. Okay, so you guys give me just a little bit, and we can kind of talk to you guys about this right now here, guys. So let me see. I think would it let me? Oh, it will let me switch the title here. That's awesome. So give me just 1 second. I love YouTube. YouTube lets you change the title of stuff and everything like that. Facebook won't let you do this, but YouTube will let you change the title of it. So now it is the live Q&A session of things here. And obviously, if it goes to warn again, we will be here. We'll have live coverage and everything like that. But it looks like, yeah, I love YouTube. YouTube lets you change all that stuff. Facebook doesn't let you do all that. So if you guys give me just a second, we are moving over to more of a Q&A kind of thing. In the end, I'm going to take some questions, and I think that's going to be it until things get started later on. So give me just a minute. Okay, and looks like it should start popping up here in just a little bit on our side. And I'll start answering some questions coming up in a little bit. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about this before we get into the graphics. Storm anxiety. Storm anxiety right now is at an all-time high here in Arkansas, and for the right reasons. We've had high risk yesterday. You have an enhancement today. You have a moderate risk tomorrow. You're probably going to have a moderate on Friday. You're probably going to have a moderate on Saturday here. Actually, tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah. Okay. So enhancements today, moderate tomorrow, which is Friday. You're probably going to have a moderate on Saturday as well. So anxiety is through the roof. But how can you prepare for something like this? The biggest thing is know where you are and tell your family and friends where they are as well. There's a lot of people in Arkansas that don't know where their counties are or their cities and everything like that. It's not us being rude or anything. Not a lot of people grew up here in Arkansas. A lot of people moved in from different parts of the country. This may be your first year in Arkansas. This may be your first day in Arkansas, your first month. Everybody's situation is different. So it is best if you don't know your counties. It's not embarrassing or anything like that. It's a quick Google search. It will tell you exactly where you are, and then you go from there. Have multiple warning sources. I want to stress this. I love you guys to death. I'm glad y'all trust us. But there are other sources to get warnings, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And, human error is always going to be there. So at least have multiple ways to get warnings here. Okay, I want to make that clear. Also, track radar updates. Our team has been posting radar updates, any watches, any warnings. Very important that you stay up to date with that stuff here, guys. Okay, so we're here. We're going to give you guys as much information as possible. But at the end of the day, I want you guys to meet us halfway. You got to meet us halfway and come in when it comes to warnings, knowing where you are, and everything like that here. I want to explain this as well. Folks, I get everybody's freaking out in Little Rock right now. I get it. I want to make that clear. There's no tornado threat up here in Little Rock right now with these storms that are moving in. Okay, it is north of the boundary. Folks, I would be the first person to tell you if there was a tornado threat in Little Rock right now. There is no tornado threat in Little Rock with these storms. It is 57 degrees. Folks, it is going to be difficult to get a tornado threat when it's cool outside. Down there in South Arkansas, where it's a lot warmer, That's where your tornado threat is right now. But up here in Central, I get it. It looks rough outside. We told you guys over the last couple of days that it was going to be like this today as long as it was north of the boundary. You're not going to have a tornado threat up here in Central Arkansas, okay? It is mainly going to be a wind and a hail threat. I will be the first one to tell you if there was a tornado coming this way, okay? I would have no reason hiding that information. There would be no reason for me to do that, okay? So right now, like I said before, take the time to know where you are, find out where your counties are. It is always a good rule of thumb to know at least 4 counties around you. That way, if a warning is issued, you know where to go here, okay? There is a severe thunderstorm warning to a pulse down there in southwest Arkansas. We're keeping an eye on things here, okay? But for right now, my folks up here in Central and especially North Arkansas, it's in the 40s and 50s up there. You are not going to get a tornado threat up there in North Arkansas today. It is mainly for our folks down there in South Arkansas and along the boundary and south of the boundary here, okay? Matter of fact, I'm going to do this. So we're going to get back to this coming up here in just a little bit. There's your overall risk for today here. Now I know there's a level 3 for much of Arkansas for today here. Keep in mind, severe weather is not just tornadoes. I want to make that clear. It is hail, it is wind, it is flooding. I want to make that crystal clear. It is not just tornadoes, guys. That's how it is. This enhanced risk is more than just a tornado threat. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that tornado threat. This is your tornado threat for today. And as you can see, as long as it stays south of the boundary, you're not going to have a tornado threat here. And that includes my folks in Central and especially in North Arkansas here at this current point, okay? So for right now, the tornado threat is greatest down in South Arkansas. Central and North, I wouldn't worry about a tornado threat today, but definitely going to be dealing with a tornado threat moving in tomorrow and especially Saturday. I love this comment. I'm going to try to pull it up. I'm not sure if it's going to let me. Flooding. Shelly, I feel like people are ignoring flooding right now, and it's going to cause some issues. It's going to cause some issues as we move into the weekend. I love this comment. Flooding is a major concern of ours. We're on White River and Mountain View, and our house is likely to flood over the weekend. I don't know if people are just absolutely just ignoring the flooding threat for the tornado threat, and I understand why. But folks, that flooding threat is just about as high as that tornado threat here, especially if you live along a river or the low line areas, guys. Okay, gotta stress that flooding threat, and it's going to get even worse as we move into the late week and into the weekend here. But for right now, this is where your tornado threat is going to be for today here, guys, okay? Like I said, I have absolutely no reason to hide any kind of information from y'all or anything like that or to sugarcoat. I'm the most blunt person you're going to meet. I'm going to tell you. I'm the most blunt person you will ever meet in your life, and I will tell you straightforward there was a tornado threat coming. And there's not, especially in Central and North Arkansas. Mainly it's going to be down for folks down there in South Arkansas because the front boundary is going to move north later on this evening and into the overnight hours here. And obviously the overnight hours, if something happens, we'll be here. I think what's going to happen during the overnight hours, there's going to be an aversion in place that will keep storms from developing until your main forcing arrives later on tomorrow and into tomorrow evening here. So we should get a break later on tonight into the overnight hours, kind of similar to what happened last night. And then what happens is your forcing gets here, your warm front lifts back to the north, and that's where you get your tornado threat here. But this is for today. I'm going to see if it will let me. Is it going to let me draw on the screen? Give me just a minute. It's going to let me draw on the screen. Give me 1 second, and we will do this. There we go. All right. So, yeah. So this is where your tornado threat is going to be. Down here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can draw this. Down here in South Arkansas, especially in this zone. That's Texarkana, Eldo, Monticello. In this particular area, this is where your tornado threat is going to be. Your boundary, especially later on, should start to make northward progress. But for right now, everything is along and north of the boundary. I'm going to make that crystal clear. Everything is along and north of the boundary, especially in Central and into North Arkansas at this current point here. Okay, so that's your tornado threat for today here. Now, I thought I had timing on here. Apparently I don't, but I'll get that added on here. What's up? Okay, yeah. So the biggest thing is going to be the significant tornado threat as well. I have Jamie over here as well. She's our storm chaser. right now.
You got it at the top of the screen. Right?
Oh, yeah. There's the timing. Okay, thank you. I was trying to point it out. I was like, so this is it. Your timing for today is going to be mainly from now to 10 o'clock this evening here. I thank you for pointing that out.
Sure.
It's been having to keep my head on a swivel with all these risks and all the questions and everything
Very
like
good.
that. So it's going to be right up here. This is going to be your timing, and that's just pretty much for our folks in this area here. From now to 10 o'clock statewide, that's where you're going to have to watch for the severe threat. I think after 10 o'clock, kind of similar to what happened last night, things will start to wind down, and then we will go from there here, guys. But this is where, in this zone, from Helena, Pine Bluff, Monticello, Camden, El Dorado, Magnolia, Texarkana, this is the zone right in here is where that tornado threat is going to be, and it's going to materialize down here in South Arkansas. Anybody that is watching this from Little Rock, Conway, Hot Springs, Banksville, Jonesboro, Walnut Ridge, Mount Home, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, this is not a concern for today. However, it's not just today we have to worry about. We're going to talk about tomorrow coming up here in just a second as well here. But I just wanted to make that clear for my folks that are listening to this right now in Central Arkansas. I understand it looks rough outside right now, and I get it. Everything that has been happening over the last couple of days, it just, like I said, it just looks like things are going to, be stormy outside and everything like that. But I'm reassuring y'all there is no tornado threat in Central Arkansas right now. We are focused on our folks down in southwestern Arkansas and southern Arkansas at this current point here. Okay, so Jacob, I love this comment, man. We've been hard at work this season, especially the last 48 hours. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Jacob, for listening and being with us here. Okay, so yeah, I'm right along the edge of the boundary in Grant County. It's 57 degrees. Not trying to stress, but it looks scary outside. I get it, and that's the worst part when you deal with a situation like this, where you have overrunning precipitation. It looks stormy outside and everything like that. But Macy, I'm going to reassure you, as long as if you walk outside and it's cool and it's in the 50s, there's no tornado threat. Now, you are going to have a hail threat and you are going to have a damaging wind threat. There's no way around that because at the end of the day, it is a severe storm. But tornadoes need warm and humid air. They die off in cool and stable atmospheres. So if it's in the 50s outside, you're not going to have a tornado threat here, okay? Now, obviously, the boundary is going to move north over the next couple of hours and into tonight, okay? But for right now, as long as you are in the 50s, you are good to go here, okay? So, Katie, right now, I'm watching this storm. I got literally radar up. I got 3 screens right here. I've got radar up over here. Right now, it is a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. It is 73 degrees. That's your warning sign. It's 73 there. That's where your tornado threat is. So we're watching that closely. The boundary is going to continue to move to the north, but that's where your tornado threat is. If it's 73 right now, that's where your tornado threat is. But if you're in the 50s, I wouldn't worry about it right now here, guys. You're not going to have a tornado threat as long as your temperatures remain pretty cool and your atmosphere feels stable. I understand it looks scary outside, but folks, like I said, I have no reason to hide any information from you guys. I'm the most blunt person you're ever going to meet. I'm not going to hide the fact that, like, if Little Rock was having a tornado threat, I wouldn't hide that information from you guys. I'm here to reassure y'all that this is going to be a possibility down there in South Arkansas today. Tomorrow is a completely different story here, guys, okay? So, let me see here. Sorry for the repeat question. I asked at a bad time. You didn't. I'm evacuating to Springfield tomorrow morning here. Is there anything looking good? Honestly, up there in southern Missouri, you're also going to have a tornado threat up there as well. It's going to be a pretty widespread risk tomorrow. I will say this as well. You are going to have a flooding threat that a lot of people are not talking about right now. The flooding threat is definitely going to be there as we move into tomorrow here, okay? So tomorrow into your Saturday and into your Sunday time frame here, okay? So let's talk about this. This is for today. This is your severe hail risk. Now, I want to stress this too because we've had a lot of confusion over the last couple of days. If you notice something different about this graphic, there's no more levels over here. It's just going to be colors, and the colors are going to tell you what it means. Okay, they're not going to be any more levels over here because it caused way too much confusion in the public. So right now, there's your hail threat for today. And keep in mind, this is north of the boundary here. That's where your significant hail threat is going to be. Your significant hail and wind threat is going to be there across the board here. Elijah, great comment. These storms moving through central Arkansas are loud, but mainly wind and hail. That's going to be the number one situation here, guys. Wind and hail is going to be your situation here in central Arkansas. It is not a tornado threat up here. My folks in southern and southwest Arkansas, your temperatures, if you're in the 70s and 80s, that's where your tornado threat will materialize as we move into later this afternoon, into this evening, and into tonight here, okay? So let's talk about your significant hail threat as well, regardless of where you are with the boundary, if you're north of the boundary or you're south of the boundary, and we'll draw that out, by the way, coming up here in a little bit. Once this live stream's over, I'll have that information on the page. But this is your significant hail threat for today here, 2-inch in diameter or greater, for any storms that move north off the boundary here, okay? So let's talk about this as well, and then I will answer as many questions as physically possible. We'll break off of here, and then we'll kind of get ourselves set up for any potential tornado warning coverage later on, okay? This is for tomorrow, not today, tomorrow. Folks, stop skimming graphics. Just stop skimming graphics. I understand a lot of people like to do that. All your information is over here. You've got information up here. And you even have little dots right here that will tell you exactly where this is, okay? This is for tomorrow, not today. Let me make that clear. This is for tomorrow, Friday, not today. Level 4 in place for much of western and southwestern Arkansas, day 2. Your level 3, pretty much from North Arkansas down to Southwest Arkansas, and then your level 3, your level 2 is for much of the state, and your level 3 kind of surrounds that. But in this particular area, as we move into tomorrow, from Jasper, Mountain Home, Little Rock, Cabot, Conway, Russellville, Hot Springs, Arkadelphia, Texarkana, Hope, DeQueen, Mena, Mount Ida, this is the area right in here that you're going to have to watch as we move into tomorrow. Once again, this is tomorrow's risk, not today. This is tomorrow's risk, Friday, April 4th, not today. Okay, so I want to make that crystal clear. We have that risk for tomorrow. We have that level. This is why we didn't post it on the page until right now with the Q&A live stream, because we were trying to avoid as much confusion as possible. But this is for tomorrow's threat here, all right? Now, the significant tornado threat for tomorrow, not tonight, tomorrow, April 4th, is for much of Arkansas, from Jonesboro, Little Rock, Camden, Magnolia, Texarkana, up to Waldron, up to Fort Smith, up to the Fayetteville area. This is for tomorrow. Timing from about 2 p.m. tomorrow should start out there in West Arkansas, and then it's going to carry over until 11 o'clock tomorrow evening, and then we have another threat as we move into your Saturday time frame here, guys. Okay, so I thought I had a timing map on here. Apparently I don't. I made one earlier. I know I had timing above the graphics here, but let me see. I may have to update it because I don't know if it's in our graphic system or not here. So let me see something real quick. Oh, this is for today. That's the timing for today. So let me see something real quick. Okay, so I can update this while I'm on live stream here. I just have to set up a stage, and I will update that timing map here while I have this up. And while I do that, by the way, I'll answer some questions here, guys. Okay, so right now I made this first thing this morning. I think your best severe shot should be right in this area. Let me double check a couple of things. I know there's level 3 enhancements for Arkansas. I completely understand, but I think your best severe chance is going to be down here in southern Arkansas today. It's going to be in this general area. So give me just 1 second. Let me update this timing map, and we'll get this ready to go. And also, I really love technology because, back in the day, we couldn't do this during a live stream because it would glitch out and everything. Now I can do this on the fly. So we're going to make this ongoing. I'm going to make this from now to about 9 p.m. and then it should come to a close by 10 o'clock this evening here. So give me just a second, and it should be coming up here in just a little bit. So that's going to be here. Should be coming up here in just a moment. Okay, so that's going to be your new timing. It's going to come up here in just a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I want to stress this here, and I'm going to make a graphic change to that as well. My folks north into central Arkansas and into north Arkansas, I want to stress this. You're going to have loud storms coming up, okay? I want to make that crystal clear, but there is not going to be a severe threat up here. So give me just a second. Let me edit this because I'm having to use our software over here to make, this is the software that we use to make our timing maps over here. And I'm going to do this. I'm I'm going to make it this color here, and we're going to, give me 1 minute before I answer any questions. I'm updating this time map for those that are wondering. My folks up here in north and central Arkansas, yes, you're going to carry a wind and hail threat. I had this pulled up somewhere over here. If it doesn't, it's okay. I can do this. Wind and hail threat, loud storms, and no tornado threat up here. Okay. It's going to be coming up here in just a minute, guys. I'm working on it as fast as I can. Like I said, I love this new technology nowadays. I'm able to do this because back in the day, this would have lagged the live stream. But I should make that yellow so it stands out better. So give me just a little bit, guys, and I will get that graphic updated, and we will go from here. So give me just a second. We'll move this up here. There we go. And I'm going to make this bolded out a little bit so you guys kind of see what's going on here. So my folks are doing North Arkansas graphics. Just going to change in just a second. Okay, let's see. There's going to be that. Okay, that should be, yep, there we go. All right, so this is going to be it, and I would say your best timing in this area is going to be from now to 9 p.m. regardless where you are in the state. And it's going to be coming up here in just a second. So I'm having to save this. I love making these graphics on the fly because I'm able to do this now. So it should be updating, coming up. There we go. There we go. Now we can talk about this, and I'm going to leave this up for our folks down there in southern Arkansas, for those that are going to be trying to figure out timing. So pretty much from now to 9 o'clock, this is going to be your timing. Wind and hail threat, loud storms, no tornado threat up here in this green zone. And then our folks down here in southern Arkansas is where that tornado threat is going to be at, from Hope, Texarkana, Magnolia, El Dorado, up to Sheridan, up to Stuttgart, Brinkley, and the Helena area here, guys. So, yes, I know we have hail in central Arkansas at this current point. Like I said before, folks, okay, it is going to be loud regardless. I personally don't know how to reassure everybody right now. I don't know how, because I'm stressing at this point. There's no tornado threat in central Arkansas. Folks are not listening. I understand the anxiety right now. I don't know how to make it even clearer to you guys that there is no tornado threat in central Arkansas right now. All your best ingredients are in South Arkansas right now. I'm making that crystal clear. I have absolutely no reason why to say, oh, hey, Little Rock is not a tornado threat when there would be a tornado threat. I have no reason why to say that. So I want to make that clear, okay? This is the timing map. Pay attention to the graphics. This is it, okay? If you're in that green zone, it is mainly going to be a wind and hail threat, and the storms are going to be loud. That's the bottom line. Southern Arkansas, south of that boundary, that is where your tornado threat is going to be as we move later on into this afternoon and into this evening. And then overnight, I think things should start to kind of calm down just a little bit, and then that's going to be it. I understand there's a severe thunderstorm watch for much of the area. That is mainly for the wind and hail threat. There could be an isolated tornado threat depending on how far north the boundary moves. But I'm stressing right now, my folks in southern Arkansas, is where the tornado threat is going to be materialized. Not every single storm produces a tornado. Let me make that clear, okay? If there was a tornado warning, I would be the first one to say, hey, it's going to be for this area, etc. All right? But not every single storm is going to produce a tornado. Not every single storm is going to be catastrophic damage or anything like that, guys, okay? Right now, if you're in this green zone and you're watching this live stream, it is going to be a wind and a hail threat. And then, yeah, it's going to be down there in southwest Arkansas, I bet. Where is it? Where's the tornado warning? Southwest Arkansas. Yep. Thank you so much, Chandler. We do have a tornado warning down there. Yes, Hempstead and Lafayette County. This literally what I just mentioned. That's where your tornado threat is going to be. I couldn't have nailed it any further into where it is. That's where it is right now here. So guys, we're going to switch this back over. Give us just 1 second. We're going to switch this back over to our radar.
It's radar indicated.
And yeah, it's radar indicated. Yep. So it's going to be for Hempstead and Nevada County. There's your tornado warning down here. So this is what I mean. My folks out here in southern Arkansas, that's where your tornado threat is going to materialize today. Okay, that's exactly where it is. Down here in southwest Arkansas, the tornado warning itself is going to go until 5:30 this evening. Down here in Lafayette, Hempstead, and Nevada counties, guys. Okay, this is where it's going to be at this point.
I'm looking at Chester and Bluff City.
Okay, yeah. So let me go over to our rotation tool real quickly here, and that's where it's going to be. And I've had a track. What's funny enough about this, I've had a track on this storm for the entire time. So the tornado warning remains in effect. It's radar indicated. It's going to go for our folks in Nevada County, Hempstead County, also Columbia, and Lafayette counties here. So if y'all can do me a big favor, share this live stream, get this information out to your family and friends. Tornado warning is in place for our folks down here in Nevada County, Hempstead County, Columbia County, and Lafayette counties at this current point here. Okay, so there's your area of rotation. Let me see if I can get this clear. There we go. It's gonna be right in here. Yep, that's where your rotation is right there. County Road 113. Let's see, that's going to be just to the southwest of County Road 25, north and west of the community of Louisville down here in southwest Arkansas. So that's the thing. That's where your tornado threat is today. It's not in central Arkansas. It's not in north Arkansas. It's for our folks down here in southern and southwest Arkansas. That's where your tornado threat is here at this point. Kim, thank you so much. Our Q&A is now on pause because we have a tornado warning in effect right now. So folks that are asking questions and stuff like that, put those on pause. We'll try to get to them as much as we can. But right now, tornado warning takes priority at this point here, okay? So my folks down here, Louisville, let's put a track. Give me 1 second to put a track on this area of rotation. I'm going to clock it to the north, 40 miles per hour.
Amy and Chittister need to be prepared.
Yeah.
If I could go ahead and throw this in.
Yep, go ahead.
Chittister and Amy, these areas are not going to have sirens. So if you know anybody in this path, go ahead and put the word out. These are itty-bitty towns. They're just not going to have them. Go ahead and get the word out. Share, call, text, whatever you got to do. They're just not going to have the sirens. Anybody you know that's going to be in these small towns, definitely get the word out right now while it's still to the southwest of them.
Yep, and you know, that's why we have Arkansas Weather Watchers here, because, you know, this is the down here in southwest Arkansas is not rural, but there's a lot of small communities down here in southwest Arkansas, you know, outside of Texarkana, you know, Hope and stuff like that here. So my folks in Lafayette, Nevada County, up towards Washita County even, and also southeastern Hempstead County, take your tornado precautions immediately, get away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, get to the lowest level of your home immediately at this current time here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this back over to current radar. I'm going to get a sip of drink real quick. All right, we're good. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to kind of do this. I'm going to tilt this, so that way we get a perspective from both central Arkansas and southwest Arkansas here. So tornado warning down here in southwest Arkansas, and then you have all of this activity up here. And I understand it's loud, it's chaotic. In Little Rock right now, folks are probably thinking it's a tornado. It's not, okay? None of this activity up here is tornadic. This is where it's tornadic, down here south of the boundary, down here in southern Arkansas. None of this activity up here in central Arkansas, west Arkansas, north Arkansas is tornadic. I want to make that crystal clear. But this is where your tornado warning is right now: Lafayette, Hempstead, Nevada County, and Columbia County.
Second tornado warning just issued right there next to that one.
Okay, yep. And it's going to be for Columbia and Nevada County, and it's going to be 5:45 for that one and 5:30 for this one here. So, like I said, once again, tornado warning down here in southwest Arkansas. This is where your boundary is, okay? None of this activity up here, I don't know how I can make it crystal clear, is tornadic. None of this is tornadic up here in central Arkansas. This is where your tornadic activity is down here in southwest Arkansas, in Nevada County, Hempstead County, Lafayette, and Columbia counties at this point. Let me double check a couple of things. Not really seeing anything right now in terms of reports. And who do I have in here? I have Taylor, Kim, and Chandler. Also got Jamie over here as well. Let me know if you hear anything urgent.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So right now, okay. Yep, and I got Chandler listening to the radio right now down there in southwest Arkansas. So yep. He's in Hope. So he's gonna be good to go.
Okay, yeah, he's out of it.
Yeah, he's the tornado.
Yeah, he's north of it. He's good.
He's north of it. He's good.
All right.
But right now we got 2 tornado warnings on the board. It's gonna be for our folks that's just south of Hope, and over here towards Stamps, the Waldo area, the Caldwell area, and the Willisville area. Take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to yourself and the outside as possible, and get to the lowest level of your home immediately here. What I'm going to do, since we have 2 tornado warnings here, I'm just going to do this. Kind of knock 2 birds out with 1 stone.
Yeah, they're going to run right to Camden.
Right. And that's going to be
Camden, Spartan, Reader.
That's going to be your area right there. So Magnolia, Stevens, that's going to be Camden, East Camden, the Sparkman area, and the Bearden area. This is what we're going to have to watch. And this is what I just got through mentioning. This is where your tornado threat is today. Okay, down here in southern and southwest Arkansas, along and south of the boundary. Everybody's in the north. I get it. It sounds chaotic. It sounds like, all hell is breaking loose outside. It's not. You have no tornado threat up there in central Arkansas right now or in north Arkansas. This is for our folks in southern and southwest. Folks, we cover the entire state of Arkansas. We're not central Arkansas weather watchers. We're not north Arkansas weather watchers. We cover the entire state, all 75 counties. So our folks down there in southwest Arkansas, pay attention. This is going to be it down here. What are you seeing? What you got?
Clayton mentioned a good point. So if you're down there in this area, do not, whatever you do not go outside. Do not try to see this thing. Get away from windows. Get to the centermost part of your house. Get to your safe spot. You're not going to be able to see it. It's going to be rain wrapped. Just don't even try to. There are spotters down there in this area. They will report it out. Yep. Don't try to see it. You're not going to.
Yep, and that's the bottom line with these types of setups here. Now, I will say this, Jamie. It looks like the storm is trying to merge.
That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid it was going to merge into 2 and just go ahead and run right up through Chittister and straight.
And I'm worried about the situation, too, because, like I said, back in 2014, we had a dominant supercell that developed down here in southwest Arkansas, got matured. It went, severe, stuff like that. And sometimes these dominant supercells like to latch onto the warm front, and they like to drag the warm front north with it. So there could be a situation like this where if this thing rapidly starts getting going, start intensifying more and more and more, this could produce a tornado at any given moment here. So that's why, folks, Nevada County, Hempstead County, Lafayette County down here, and Columbia County, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. This is north of Highway 82, by the way. I'm pulling up the roads real quick here. Okay, so there is 82 right through here. That's going to be Highway 355, That's Highway 278 that runs from Hope to Camden.
Right now it's crossing 79.
It's crossing right over 79 right down here. Now, down here in southwest Arkansas, you've got 2 South Arkansas natives here in the studio right now.
Yeah. So, we know this area well.
Right. So this is going to be an area right in here. You got to keep an eye on this storm as it continues to move towards the north and east. I will say this. The further north and east it gets away from the boundary, because eventually, once it gets north of the boundary, this becomes a hail and wind threat. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Obviously, Shreveport, really good on getting the tornado warning out, because this is still south of the boundary here. And like I said, coming up here in just a little bit, once we kind of get in a more stable period, I will draw out where the boundary is, kind of reassure everybody where it is, and we will go from there. Matter of fact, I'm not sure who's in here. I got Chandler, Kim, and Taylor. One of y'all, if y'all can do me a big favor, get this map on the page. It's the timing map that I made. If one of y'all can get that on the page, that would be really appreciated. I think that will kind of ease a lot of the anxiety right now for folks that are trying to figure out where this is and everything like that. So if one of y'all can get that posted on the page, I would really, really appreciate it. But for right now, tornado warnings still remain in effect for our folks down here in Hempstead, Nevada, Columbia, and Lafayette counties at this current time here. Let me see if John's available right now. I don't know if he's available.
So I know that sirens are going off in Hope. Hope is, y'all are good. Y'all are going to take some wind, y'all are going to take some rain, but y'all are not in the path of this thing.
Yep. So that's going to be it right here. Let's go over to the rotation real quick. It looks like it's a big mess right now.
Yeah.
This is, kind of adding to what Clayton has said down here. He works with the emergency management down here in southwest Arkansas. You're not going to see this. Folks have to go outside and try to see the tornado for themselves. You're not going to see it. Like, it's rain wrapped. The rotation right now, I can't even determine where the dominant rotation is right now because it's merging together. So you're not going to see this coming here. So this thing gets going and produces a tornado. It's going to be rapid. It's not going to waste any time. And it's going to be, if you're outside, you're not going to have a lot of time to react if this thing produces a tornado. So anybody in these areas, that's the Caldwell area, we can zoom down even further. Matter of fact, I'll do this. I'll go over to our rotation strength real quick. And I don't think I'm picking up anything. Like the
Yeah,
biggest area
there's
is
no
right here.
obvious of rotation besides right there, maybe next to Waldo.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the best bet. Now, the only problem with your two storms right here that are merged together, it's going to go one of two ways. There is no in between. They're going to pull together and they're going to kill each other both off, or they are going to simply just expand and they're going to go northeast.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
there's no in between.
Yep, that's the bottom line when you have two storms merging together, guys. So this is a situation, like I said, for folks down here in Southwest Arkansas. Right now, this storm is, like Jamie just mentioned, is an emerging process. So this could, like I said, happen in two ways. They can either kill each other and be done, or one of them becomes dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And if they become dominant, it's going to latch along the boundary. That's where you're going to have. That's where that strong tornado potential is going to be down here in Southwest Arkansas. So we'll keep an eye on things right now. That's right along Highway 82, just west of Waldo or southwest of the Willisville area, or just to the west and northwest of Magnolia. So anybody in these areas, make sure you take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to you and the outside as possible, and get to the lowest level of your home immediately. At this current time here, Heidi's fixing to join in. She just got out of class a second ago. Kim or Heidi, one of y'all, if y'all can get that on the page, I would really appreciate it, because I think that's going to ease kind of a lot of minds right now trying to figure out where this is down here in Southwest Arkansas. And go ahead.
So either way, you've got two sets. Worst case scenario, you get two sets of rotation. So obviously, this is going to be your weaker set of rotation where you're on top of Patmos, and then your stronger one is going to be on top of Waldo. Either way, if you're in either one of these, don't take it lightly. Get somewhere safe, because again, this thing has got two storms. It's got two separate sets of rotation. Again, best case scenario, we want this thing to go ahead and die off. We want it to go ahead and show out and be done. Just stop. I'm looking at rotation. I do see your strongest part right there on top of Waldo, between Waldo and Magnolia.
Yeah, and I'm getting worried too, because look, this one is absorbing.
They're pulling into each other, and they're going to form on top of that Waldo storm.
Yeah,
Waldo storm, which was the smaller of the two, is taking the energy from now your vodka, however you want to say that. I apologize, my South Arkansas folks.
I think it's Bodcall.
Bodcall. I'm sorry, I'm from that area, and I'm still tripping over it. I'm a Camden girl, and I'm still messing up. But it looks like that second storm is definitely pulling it in. So
and I'm getting worried now, because this one here, that was just southwest of Highway 371.
Right.
And this is something, and like I just mentioned before, you don't want this to latch onto the boundary and start dragging the boundary with it, because if it starts doing that, this comes from a radar indicated tornado, just your bottom line, your base level, to what could potentially be a significant tornado here. That's how fast things change. You guys saw it last night. We went from, these cells bubbling up and
0 to 100.
0 to 100, not looking like much, and then they got into that environment and they just boom. So that's why, folks down here, we've got the track. Let me zoom this out, kind of give you guys a perspective of where this is. So here's Little Rock. I'm gonna leave Little Rock up in this. There's a lot of folks that are coming in right now that are hearing the thunder and lightning. They're thinking it's a tornado warning and stuff like that. If y'all can do me a favor in the comments, please reassure folks in Central Arkansas there is no tornado threat, okay? Don't be the one that's sharing false information and stuff like that, because a lot of people already are dealing with storm anxiety from what's happened the last couple of days. It's just going to get worse over the next two. Share truthful, verified information over the next couple of days here, guys. We don't need to be freaking out anybody else higher than where they already are right now here, okay? So right now, I understand you hear it in our studios here. We're in downtown Little Rock. It sounds like severe weather. It's thundering outside. None of that activity is tornadic. This is where it's tornadic down here. As a matter of fact, Jamie, they just dropped that tornado warning.
Right, but that means they're probably going to extend it to that Magnolia storm.
Correct. So they're focusing more on this one now. It's just northwest of Magnolia. It's been moving towards the Camden area, Clark County, maybe even potentially Dallas County.
Right.
And we don't want this, because what's going on means that warm front starting to nudge north. And if this thing latches along the warm front, it's going to continue to have that tornado threat here, guys.
So what we call this recycling. It's just a transfer of energy. So go ahead.
That's what it's called. Bodcall.
Bodcall. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sorry, I tripped over that.
Yep. Nope. I nailed it. I nailed it. I see. Look, I'm getting better at my.
Hey, in all fairness, at least I didn't pull a Derek and say Elder Raider. So
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So we're getting better here. We're getting better. We're getting these town names right, guys. So Like I said, a lot of folks down here in Nevada, Columbia County, going to Clark, Washita County, and Dallas County, make sure that you're taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible. Get to that lowest center part of your home immediately. At this time, I think one of my guys got that map up on the page. That's going to be good. Okay, Chandler, I know he had to bounce out. He's got to go to work. He's a corrections officer. So we're good. We still got other people on the team. I got Heidi. I think Heidi's in here now.
She was. I saw her a little while ago.
Yeah, she's in here now, so we're good to go with this, guys. But we're going to continue to kind of keep an eye on the situation here. Right now, that's going to be Highway 278. I'm going to go over to this area of rotation real quickly here. So I'm trying to keep Southwest Arkansas in this area, and I'm also trying to monitor Central Arkansas as well. This is going to be your situation right through here. Anyone in these areas, make sure that you're taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible. I'm starting to get a little worried about, that walled area up towards I think that's going to be...
That's Chittister.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's going to be west of Camden. So if you're watching this in Camden right now, I'm going to safely say right now this should stay to your west. Now, if I'm in Camden, I'm kind of holding on tight. I'm waiting for any kind of situation that, this thing takes a right turn. It's going right for downtown.
Don't let your guard down in Camden.
Right. So we're up to watch this. What you got? What's up?
I was just going to say, anybody on 57, 24, 79, cell service is real spotty in those areas. So if you can get the word out to anybody that is along that path that y'all know where your spots are at where you lose service. Go ahead and get the word out right now.
Another thing I'm worried about too, down here in Southwest Arkansas, and I mentioned this the other day, radar loss zone.
Right, there's no radar down there besides Shreveport. That's it.
Yep, and
you're in that weird ball. I'll just say.
And guess what's getting ready to happen with the storm?
Right, they're about to cross two roads.
Is moving out of Shreveport's
they're about to cross two radars. So what he's talking about, if y'all didn't hear the other day, so we've got a radar down there in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then the other one is going to be in Little Rock. And then your other one is going to be in Fort Smith. But either way, you're kind of in a weird area where you're not really in one, but you're not really in other. So whenever you get that close to this line, as he showed that it was a purple line, your images get distorted. And it's really, really hard to tell what's what and where exactly. There's no good way to do it. There's just not.
Yep.
So either way, take your precautions.
Yep, and that's not like I said, that's called a radar loss zone. So it's pretty much what's going on is this area of rotation, and you're actually starting to see it in real time now that your rotation is starting to become distorted.
Yeah.
And it looks like it just doesn't look like concealed like what
like
you would
mess.
like a mess. Normally when you're looking at a radar, you see that defined area of rotation, the defined area where this is going to potentially be. Well, unfortunately, like I said before, this is between two radars. So what's going on is this is moving out of Shreveport's radar and it's moving into Little Rock's, but that time between the two radars, you're not going to get the best image. It's going to look distorted no matter what radar you use until it moves over to, either it moves back into Shreveport's radar or it moves back into Little Rock's radar. So that's why we urge whenever we have these tornado warnings, if you're in that polygon, don't wait to see it confirmed or anything like that. We've got emergency management down there. We got Chandler, we've got Clayton, we got Kayla, we got emergency management down there. That's going to feed back reports or anything like that if anything occurs. Right now, I haven't heard anything in terms of anything being on the ground or any destruction or anything like that, which is amazing news. But right now, our folks in Nevada County and even in the Washita County too, I'd say if between the Chilster area and the Camden area, take your tornado precautions there. I know you're not in that warning yet, but my folks on Highway 24, that runs out of Camden, that runs into Nevada County. Take your tornado precautions because you see you see it in real time. How that rotation looked really, really kind of structured a second ago. Now it's starting to get more distorted because it's running in between two radars right down here in Southwest Arkansas. So hopefully in the future, we can fix this problem. I know there was a situation where they had talked about putting a radar in southeastern Oklahoma that's just for Southwest Arkansas for situations like this. But I don't know what the situation was with that. But hopefully in the future we can get more radars established across the state. So right now, my folks just north and east of the Waldo area, just southwest of the Camden area, south of that's Highway 278 down 278. Take your tornado precautions immediately at this point. Let me go over
You can
to,
see where your rotation's at now. It's looking like it's more on top of McNeil.
Yeah, it's. I hate using this because right now it's stuck between two radars out here right now.
But just pulling off of your radar, that's going to be probably your best bet.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, if I was in the field and was going to guess, I would say it's right there between McNeil and Waldo.
Yeah. So which radar are you using?
Right now I'm pulling off of Little Rock, but let me pull off of Louisiana and see what they say because I know they were going to have a little bit better guess. But again, it's kind of.
No, yeah, I got Little Rock.
Okay, let me go to Louisiana while you're doing that.
Okay, so let me look at this real quick. I'm pulling this up, and you see what we mean. We're having a switch between Little Rock and Shreveport. Little Rock, Shreveport is just right now. Let me see here. I'm looking at Little Rock one, and right now it just looks. Yeah, there's your rotation.
Shreveport is pulling. Yeah, it's pulling a worse image than what your Little Rock radar is.
Yeah, that's the one right here near McNeil. I'm gonna see if it comes up.
You can see right here on my radar, it's looking worse coming out of Shreveport.
Yeah. So let me go over to see here. Let's go back over to Shreveport's radar real quick. It's still because it looks like it's still in Shreveport's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But let me see something here. I had a way. I'm trying to figure out where it is now. I had a way to show you the melting layer, which pretty much is what that means is you're able to see kind of where the radar where the coverage area of the radar is, but I don't know where it is right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you shared it the other day.
Worst time possible to try to find
try to mess with stuff.
Yeah, try to mess with stuff. So
it's all right.
It's all good. I think it's on this. I'm not sure. Let me look real quick. I had it pulled up. It's somewhere in here.
Yeah, you'd had it pulled up where, like I said, it was a big thick purple line.
Yeah. It's all good. We'll figure it out later. But anyways, anyone in these areas, make sure they're taking their tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to yourself and the outside as possible. This is going to be. Let me go back over to our other radar real quick. And right now it's just McNeil. I see the McNeil storm.
It looks like it's right just there. Northwest of McNeil running northeast.
Okay. So what they just did,
it's part of the town.
And here's some good news, Jamie. This is moving north to the boundary.
Good.
So what's going on here now is you have a tornado warning that has been replaced now with a severe thunderstorm warning for our folks in Ouachita and Calhoun County down here in southern Arkansas. So looks like right now this is mainly going to be a wind and hail threat. As long as this storms, and that's going to be the key today, as long as these storms stay along and north of the boundary of the warm front, we should be gravy on the tornado threat. We should be good. Mainly going to be a wind and hail threat if these storms stay north of the boundary. If it latches on to said boundary or it develops south of the boundary, that's where you're going to have to watch for the tornado threat as we move into later in today. So right now, we're kind of keeping an eye here. Tornado warning still remains effective. It's going to go until 5:45. I will say once this storm moves out of the polygon, they'll probably drop it.
Yeah.
And then to kind of leave it for Dallas, Clark County, over towards Ouachita County, and also the Calhoun County over here as well. Elsewhere across the state, okay? And like I said, I have a lot of folks that are coming in. I'm not even looking at the comments right now. A lot of folks coming in worried, in Conway, Searcy, Batesville, Jonesboro, Little Rock, the Brinkley area. I get it. We're not here to bash you guys for having anxiety, especially after what's happened yesterday, what's happened the past Sunday, what happened March 14th. It's been a hellacious month. Mm-hmm. It's been crazy. I think it's probably one of the more active springs I've covered in quite some time here. So I understand the anxiety. I mean, you have to keep your head on a swivel whenever you deal with these big-time severe weather events. But, folks, none of this activity, all this is a mess up here in central and north Arkansas right now. It's just a loud mess up here in central and north Arkansas. So this is all wind and hail up here. None of it's
tornado warnings dropped. They dropped
tornado warnings dropped?
They dropped it.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what happened? Like we mentioned before, it moved north of the boundary. As long as we can get these storms to move north of the boundary, the tornado threat drops. That's how it is. That's how it's going to be as we move later into the day and into tonight. As long as these storms stay north of the boundary, we should be good. Another thing I'm getting worried about, Jamie, is flooding.
Right, especially along those little rivers like Ouachita and
So we have multiple reports coming out from Pulaski County. We have one in Jefferson County. We have another one here in Conway County here of flooding here. There's one report up here. A lot of thunderstorms extending from Conway moving through. Rainfall rates upwards to 4 to 5 inches per hour here. That is insane. Will traverse the Little Rock Metro as we move later into this evening. Rush hour leading to hazardous travel and flooding issues in the urban areas. Flash flooding is likely to begin quickly as these rainfalls move in. So, folks, rush hour. My folks in Little Rock, this is going to become an issue. Flooding reported in and around the Gravel Ridge area, and then the one down here, water over the Second Avenue and Pine Bluff, pictured via social media. So we're getting flash flooding starting to develop here, and this is going to be an issue. You're starting to see these flash warnings. Matter of fact, I'll take off radar, and I'm going to take off all of the tornado warnings, the severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to focus strictly right now on flooding. Right now, you've got multiple flash flood warnings in place. Some of this, actually, matter of fact, back out here, is considerable out here in West Tennessee, along the Arkansas, the Arkansas-Tennessee border and the Arkansas-Mississippi border along the Mississippi River over here in eastern Arkansas. So, multiple flash flood warnings. You got one here in Little Rock that's going to 7:45. Rush hour. Take your time on the roads, guys. Be careful. Be considerate of people around you. No need to be in a rush trying to get back to the house, guys. Okay? If you come across a flooded roadway, you turn around and you do not drown in this situation here. Okay? So, let me see here. Let me go over to this real quick. John is actually about to head to Little Rock now. So he's packing up some things here. So he may be.
I was going to say, is he coming to see us?
Yeah. Actually, he's got a doctor's appointment in the morning.
Okay.
At 8 o'clock.
Cool.
So he's going to be here tomorrow regardless. So he's heading to Little Rock right now here. So we'll have him if we have anything going on later on this evening. But right now, I think that's pretty much it, guys. The tornado warnings remains in effect. I'll answer a few questions until about 5:35. We're going to kind of get ourselves collected, get our evening crew in, and then we'll be ready for any kind of warnings that may get issued here. So I'm going to go back over to the Q&A here, guys. I'm going to leave this timing map up, and I'm going to pull up the thing here because we have the tornado warning now. The tornado warning has been allowed to be dropped, so give it just a little bit here, and it's going to be coming up here in just a second here. So if y'all have any questions or anything like that, this is probably the best time to ask, and then we're going to go from there here, okay? So it's 86 degrees here in far southeastern Arkansas. Should we be worried? Valerie, that's where your tornado threat is. Down there in southeast Arkansas. If you are that warm, 86 degrees in freaking April.
That's nuts.
That's nuts. This summer is going to be brutal.
Oh, you ought to be happy. You love summer. You love the heat. So you ought to be sitting pretty.
I love it, but, I mean, you come to a situation where it just becomes too much. So, yeah, 86 degrees down there in southeast Arkansas. Yep, we'll have to keep an eye on it down there. This is a South Arkansas event. Central and North Arkansas, you're going to be good to go here, guys, okay?
Yes.
Bree, we have already talked about, I don't know if you tuned into the live stream late or not, we've already talked about tomorrow. Right now, Bree, what I'm doing is we're focusing on today because what's going to happen is you talk about tomorrow, it's going to lead to a lot of mass confusion in the public. And people are going to think that the level 4 for tomorrow is for today, and it's not. So we're trying to get past today, trying to take one day at a time, and then we will go from there here. But we've already kind of talked about tomorrow, the level 4, just kind of briefly talked about it. But right now we're trying not to, overlap all these risks because it's just going to lead to a lot of confusion here, okay? So, yeah, still 80 degrees, Aaron down there in southern Arkansas. One of our moderators is showing us 80 degrees down there. That's where your tornado threat is. You see here in central Arkansas, you're at 55 degrees right now. You're not going to get a tornado threat here at 55 degrees. And Jamie's over here. She's been doing this
I'm in studio. I'm not even out in Little Rock.
Right.
If there was, I'd be out in the field. So.
Exactly, guys. Like I said, she's our storm chaser. If something was going on here in Little Rock, I promise
Kim, I love you to pieces. You're one of my best friends, but I would not be sitting here hanging out with you.
She would not be sitting in the studio right now. She'd be out there in the field. So that should be a little bit more of a reassurance that not much is going on here in central Arkansas outside of the wind, the hail, and like I said before, the flooding threat. The flooding threat is starting to become more of an issue for us here in Arkansas, especially over the next couple of days here. So I'm taking a look at the sky cam. Let me make sure that is still live.
I don't know that you can see much with it.
So, yeah, it's just a gungeon mess in central Arkansas right now. A lot of heavy rain. It's cool. There's some thunder going on right now here, but yeah. So Carson, I mean, you can get situations. Every situation is different when it comes to tornado formation. I'm telling you this right now, okay? You don't have to worry about it when we go into the warm front, okay? I understand a lot of people's anxiety is through the roof right now. Folks, I have no reason to lie to y'all. I have no reason to lie to y'all whatsoever. I have no reason to sugarcoat anything. I have no reason to hide anything from y'all. So you can get a tornado in certain situations, but this is a situation that you're not going to get one unless you are south of the boundary. You notice something. All the tornado warnings right now are down there near Texarkana, Holt, Camden, Magnolia, El Dorado. That's where your tornado threat is at its highest. But further to the north, it's not going to do it. 55 degrees in this setup is not going to cut it whatsoever. You're not going to get a tornado threat with temperatures that cold here. And same thing, Joseph, you're 56 degrees. As long as you're north of that boundary, you're not going to get a tornado threat whatsoever. So
I'm looking at that. There is not a tornado warning in this state. I know that Camden is still concerned. There's a lot of people popping in from that area. Mm-hmm. Y'all are not under a tornado warning. It is severe thunderstorm warned. It does have wind, rain, possibly some hail, but it is not tornado warned. There is not a tornado warning in this state. Like you said, Camden, Monticello, even Texarkana, that area, all the way over to Lake Village, all the way to Pine Bluff. Do not let your guard down. I know there's a storm in Camden. It does not mean that you're out of the woods with a tornado threat. You're still under it. It does not mean, again, that there's anything in the area. It just means be on the lookout.
Yep.
I know it's 63 down there, but things can still change.
Yep. And what's going to happen is, there's a couple of comments here. I know you said for the rest of the day in Central Arkansas, but is there a possibility overnight here? Now, I haven't looked too deep into overnight.
I haven't seen overnight.
Just to be completely honest with you, we can change that. Give me just 1 second. I can change that. We can take a look for just a little bit. Right now, let me see if we can go here. Right now, it looks like the boundary is actually going to have trouble getting north overnight. So overnight in Central Arkansas, you should be good to go. And what's going on here is all that heavy rain that's in place is moving north. All that heavy rain is leading to that boundary not coming north as fast as possible here. Okay, so yes, it will move north overnight. Right now, as far as I can tell, I haven't seen anything that would lead me to be concerned about overnight. We should be good to go overnight. I will keep an eye on things. Obviously, our studio and our backup studio is programmed to go live at any point. But right now, I haven't seen anything that would lead me to be concerned about overnight. Now, obviously, if something happens, we'll be here. Okay? I'm going to make that crystal clear. We'll be here. But right now, I haven't seen anything that would warrant me to be like, oh, hey, you're going to get a tornado outbreak overnight. That's not going to happen. But I am, and I will tell you guys this front face, blunt as possible, I am worried about tomorrow. You have dew points much higher, and I'll stress this, your dew points are much higher tomorrow than they were yesterday in Arkansas. So I am getting very worried about tomorrow. Tomorrow, good call by SPC going moderate. Okay, so look, confirmed tornadoes in this area here. That's going to be the McNeil.
That's right in the area where that tornado warning was.
That's what it was earlier on. So it's not right now, but that might have been earlier on when that tornado warning was going on down there in southwestern Arkansas here, guys. So let me see here. Currently 64 degrees in Junction City, Madison. That's where that tornado potential is right now. I love this comment from Deanna. Do not spam the comments, guys. We're going to try to get to y'all as quickly as possible. It does not cost a penny to be nice to our team or to be nice to anybody else across the state and the meteorologists across the state. This is the most active period that we've had in quite some time here in Arkansas. I get the anxiety. I'm going to be straightforward with you. Anxiety is not a ticket to be rude. It's not. It's not a ticket to be rude to people that are trying to help you. And I understand a lot of people are freaking out right now and everything like that, but I've been noticing that on social media. Yeah. A lot of people have been just attacking meteorologists, attacking weather enthusiasts and stuff like that. Anxiety is not a ticket to be rude to people. It's not. It is not whatsoever. So those that are trying to help you, not only for us here in Arkansas Watchers, but you got other people across the state that are doing the exact same thing. There is absolutely no reason to attack them because you don't get your certain question answered. There's just no point. There's no reason for that, guys. Okay? So please keep that in mind here moving forward. We're trying to get to as many as we can. Some of these questions, y'all are going to have to meet us halfway. That's how it is. You got to know your counties. You got to know your cities. You got to know where you are, folks. This is just the bottom line. That's just the bottom line. You got to know where you are in Arkansas at all times. The awareness has got to be up, because as many times as we answer one question for a certain county, another will come behind it, and then there's more people that will do that. Folks, you've got to meet us halfway, because there's a lot of people getting upset, getting mad at us for not answering questions, where there's a situation that a question could be answered by yourself. So I'm making that crystal clear. I love that comment from Deanna. She's one of our YouTube moderators. Do not spam because we don't get to your question, guys. There's your question, and there is a mile long right behind you or in front of you trying to get answered, guys. So patience, be nice, not only to us, but the meteorologists and everybody else in the state that does not have to be doing this, by the way, helping you and your family trying to stay safe during this most active period. There is no reason why you should be attacking anybody in the state right now that's doing weather coverage. There's just absolutely no reason why right now here. So I'll get off my soapbox about that, but I'm trying to alleviate that, because there's just been a lot of that going on right now here, guys. So with this line on the map indicate, it's just a dividing line. That's all what it is. You're south of it, that's where your severe threat's going to be. You're north of it, it's going to be mainly a wind and hail threat. It's going to be loud, by the way. These storms are going to be absolutely loud when they move through your area here. It's going to carry a lot of lightning. Some hail could be possible. You still have that significant hail threat. And then you have that wind threat that you have to deal with north of the boundary. But yeah, you're going to have down in South Arkansas is where that tornado threat's going to be. But north of that red line, I wouldn't worry about a tornado threat, especially today. Tomorrow is a completely different day, completely different setup, and I worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow looks like it could be a very long day for us here in Arkansas. Okay, so let me see here. And like I said, Lee, I'm gonna get to your comment too. You know, you can ask questions. I'm not attacking anybody for asking questions. It's just some of these questions. You got to meet us halfway. You know, obviously, it's folks that are trying to figure out where to take shelter or, you know, timing or stuff like that. You know, we prioritize those questions. But some of these, you know, meet us halfway. You know, if you know where you are, it's going to answer your own question. That's just how it is. But yeah, Lee, I mean, you guys can ask as many questions as possible here, because, you know, you still have people that will, you know, try to figure out where to go. You know, people that are trying to plan events and all the other stuff here. So that's why we do these Q&As. But yeah, man, you some of these questions you can answer on your own. If you know where you live, you know your county, you know your city, it will tell you everything you need to know here. Okay, so if we are on or below the red line, correct? Yeah. That's where your tornado threat is tonight. Down there in Texarkana, Eldo, Camden, Pine Bluff, Stuttgart, Monticello, Crosset, Lake Village. That's where your tornado threat is. If you're south of that red line, that's where your tornado threat is going to be for tonight. But if you live along and north of it, you're gravy on the tornado threat. The wind and hail and the flooding, which I forgot to put on here too, the flooding threat. I'm telling y'all, a lot of people are ignoring that flooding threat right now. It is significant. Mm-hmm. I think, as a matter of fact, I saw somebody earlier post about WPC. I think there's a high risk for flooding now. Yeah, there is. So there's a high risk today, there's a big high tomorrow, and then there's a high risk on Saturday now here in Arkansas for the flooding. Catastrophic flooding possible for our folks in North Arkansas here. We're going to talk about that too. You know, a lot of folks have been trying to focus about the tornado and the wind and the hail threat. This flooding threat is probably as high as some of the tornado threats we've had over the last couple of days here. So this is not a situation that you need to be ignoring flooding at this point, guys. That flooding threat is going to sneak up on a lot of people, and it's going to be ugly. So I'm telling y'all, do not just focus on the tornado threat. If you got plans, especially Friday and Saturday, especially in North Arkansas, there's a lot of people that go camping. There's a lot of people that are living in low-lying areas near the river and everything like that. Like, you need to be paying attention to this flooding threat. This flooding threat is real. It's significant. And, you know, this is just a situation that you just can't ignore because it's not a tornado threat here, guys. That's what we mean. Yeah.
So I see somebody on there apologizing for asking questions. Do not apologize for asking any question. There's not a dumb question.
Yeah.
He wants y'all to ask questions. I think Cam's biggest issue or concern is that a lot of times people are so quick to the jump about asking questions that he's already said repeatedly. And again, you can watch this stream, go back, hit rewind, whatever you got to do, go back and watch it. We want you to ask questions. We want you to understand. We want you to be aware and not be afraid of these things.
Yep.
I think he just gets a little, maybe irritated is a better way to put it, with having to repeat it, just having to repeat yourself. But no, we want you to ask questions.
Yeah.
Somebody also said something about an overnight event. I don't think this thing is going to go overnight. I think probably, I'm just going to throw a number out there. Again, maybe 10, 10-ish, 11. I think it might go late night, but I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. I don't think that whenever you go to bed tonight, if you go to bed late, that you're going to have to worry about being woken up to sirens in the middle of the night. I just don't think it's going to go that long.
I love that comment from Rose. And, I kind of talk about that too, Jamie. It's not really irritation. It's just, there's a lot of people that will try to attack the weather enthusiasts and try to attack the meteorologists because they don't get their questions answered. It's more of that. And that's just, that's pointless. It's unnecessary, especially for folks that are, they're giving their time to make sure that you and your family and your friends are staying safe. It's, I promise you guys, if I was irritated, you would know it.
No, I know. I've known it for 13 years, so I know.
Yeah.
No,
it's just that. I just, that's the one thing that just kind of, I don't see why people do that. But there are people out there that actually, that ask the legit questions, that are trying to plan
100%.
And everything like that here. So
I personally wish that people would just understand that just because your area is not under a tornado warning, you're not in a severe risk. Your neighbor, your fellow Arkansan, they may be. Have a little bit of compassion, especially in times like this. Mm-hmm. Everybody in this state is worried. Last night it was Jonesboro. Next week, whatever, it later on down the line, it may be Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Arkansas. Have a little bit of compassion. Realize that, again, just because you are not being answered right then, we are trying to get through it as much as we can. Cam has been doing this for so long. He cares so much about people that anytime anybody is negative, I see it in this man's face. I can hear it whenever I'm out in the field. He takes it personally because he does care so much about y'all. And I guess that's why, and now I might be on my soapbox, but it gets on my side, especially when I'm out in the field chasing, try to help and try to relay things to y'all. And I hear you getting so, I can hear you get upset because you do take it personally because you care about every single person that follows this stream. Since the day y'all started this, you've cared about every single person that pops on this feed, whether it be in Discord or it be on YouTube or Roku, whatever. You care.
Yep.
So people, please just have a little bit of compassion for your fellow Arkansan.
Yep.
There's no need to be just downright mean and just not care.
Yeah, and like I said, just not trying to get on that topic a lot, but yeah, and that's going to be a situation in the next couple of days because you're not only, and I'm going to go back to Rose's comment real quickly here. You're not only dealing with the tornado threat, you're also dealing with flooding. Flooding leads the country in depths. It's number one above tornadoes. I think lightning is closer. I had a graphic somewhere that showed that, but flooding is number one when it comes to trying to figure out, comes to number one leading the country in depths. That's why we harp so much about the flooding threat. So that's why we're telling you guys also be aware of the flooding threat. Not the flooding threat, the tornado threat, the wind threat, the hail threat, but the flooding. Flooding is going to eventually become a significant problem, especially for folks up there in northern northeastern Arkansas. I know Ryan Vaughn, he had talked about this the other day. This is probably one of, if not one of the most historic flooding events coming up for us here in Arkansas. And it's, he talked about that for the right reason because the flooding threat is definitely going to be there. And it's going to be significant. And I would dare say, if there was a challenge between the flooding threat and the tornado threat, I think the flooding threat would win out. That's how significant it is right now. And that's not saying the tornado threat's not significant. It's just the flooding. The flooding threat needs to be, the awareness for flooding needs to go up, especially over the next 2 days here, guys, because we have a high risk not only for today, but tomorrow, and also your Saturday time frame here, guys, okay? So, just double checking a couple things here. I'm going to answer a few more questions. I've got the timing map up here. I'll go back over to current radar for just a little bit here, and this is going to be it. This is your current radar right now. Good amount of shower and thunderstorm activity here. I'm going to let this loop while I answer a few questions here, and then we're going to hop off, get our evening crew in, get everything set up, and then we're going to go from there here. Okay?
Side note, lightning caused 73 deaths in 2024.
Oh, wow. And lightning. It's most of those deaths is because you'll have your storm, and then you'll have a lightning strike like 50 miles away from it, and that's where it causes it here. So yeah, I know you're pulling up the statistics about flooding, and that's why I harp on it so much. That the flooding threat is definitely there, especially in North Arkansas. Your North Arkansas areas, Northeast Arkansas. I will say this: if you've got folks camping. There's a lot of people that camp this time of the year. You know somebody that's going to be near a river. Please tell them about the flooding threat. Like, please tell them. Let them know. Because we're coming up on a weekend. A lot of people are going to be camping. They're going to be doing other outdoor stuff. Let them know about the flooding threat. Because it's significant and it's real. And it's going to be an issue as we move into tomorrow and into Friday here. So, I don't know why we have such a microphone issue. We're going to try to get that sorted once we get past all of this severe weather activity. We normally kind of sit here and upgrade our stuff and everything like that. As a matter of fact, I think we're working on an Amazon wish list. So, what's up?
Hey, there you go. There's your number 2.
Yep. I hear Kim or Heidi. What was that? One of y'all? I'm not sure. I heard somebody in the background. Okay. So, well, anyways here. So that's just kind of what that, and I appreciate you for watching our channel and everything like that. So, I love Andy's comment. Listen and read the graphics. If you don't understand the graphic, simply state that you don't understand it and ask for help. Love that comment, Andy. That's the best way we're going to get through this event here. Okay. So,
there's just some information.
Yeah. So
I'll let you read that.
Wow. 11,500 deaths globally in 2024 in terms of flooding. Yeah, flooding is definitely up here when it comes to leading the country in deaths. Then you have your tornado, and you have your wind, and your hail, and your lightning, and all the other stuff. But yeah, flooding. I know a lot of people don't like me talking about that, but it's going to become a problem, especially if you are living in a low-lying area or you're going out camping or anything like that here. Okay, so. Let me see here. Yeah, super loud in the wind area. I promise you, Jeremy, there's no tornado threat right now. All of this activity is loud, and that's the problem when you deal with something like this is you have all of these loud thunderstorms, and it sounds like severe, especially if you just got through dealing with severe weather. It sounds like it, but it's not. I promise you, I would hide no information from y'all in terms of any kind of tornado threats or anything like that. This is just very loud storms up here. Right now. Okay, so in 2010, we had a significant flooding issue up there in Harding. Grandma said wanted my mom to take me to school. She was hesitant. The water didn't look that high. She drove through it. She had a truck.
Don't
do that. Don't make that same mistake. Turn around. At night, it's even harder to see flooding here. Okay, so yeah, that flooding threat is going to be a problem. I'm glad we mentioned it. Down here in Pine Bluff, it's already terrible, and the rain isn't even here yet. The backyard looks like a swamp. That's going to be a problem. Not only with the tornado threat, not only with the damage, wind, and hail threat, flooding is going to be rather significant. As a matter of fact, I'll do this after the live stream because I can get this program into our system. We'll show you guys the flooding threat, and it's there. It's there, and it is real. So, folks, none of this stuff is rotating. It's going to look like it is. I'm stressing this. We're going to make a map as soon as this live stream is over. Folks, if you are in Central Arkansas, we've said this a billion times, there is no tornado threat, okay? There's no tornado threat. Stop looking for it. There's no tornado threat in Central Arkansas. We will be the first one to tell you if there was, okay? There's no tornadoes right now. There's nothing, okay? If there was a tornado warning, we would be letting you guys know. But right now, I want to make this clear. There is no tornado threat in Central Arkansas or in Conway or in Little Rock or anywhere in these areas, guys, okay? I would let you guys know if something like that were to occur, but nothing is rotating right now. We're not expecting any tornadoes up here in Central or North Arkansas. We're keeping an eye on South Arkansas, but right now, this is probably the best case scenario that we have a lot of this activity, a lot of rainfall, and we're not seeing a lot of storm development down there in South Arkansas. But we're gonna keep an eye on things here, okay? So we're keeping an eye on the storm down here in the Camden area. I will take a look at that real quickly. If you can look at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
So, and it wouldn't shock me if this was rotating down here because this is south of the boundary.
I think it's got a hail core to it. I think it's got, and I'm not even going to throw a number on it. I'm going to say probably small size hail right there south of Camden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it looks like it's got hail, but it's not rotating.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever lowering you might see, whatever little clouds hanging down, those are scud clouds. They are not funnels. They are just, I hate to say crap clouds, but yes, they're harmless.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But I do see a little bit of what looks like hail just south of Camden, so that's the only thing I can see on there.
Yep, I'm going to address this comment right now. I'm going to make this crystal clear. I have absolutely no reason why to hide information like that, okay? I understand there's been situations before where there's been no watches, there's been no updates, and there's been a tornado warning. I have looked at every piece of data, guys. When we sit here and do these live streams here, I don't sit here and lie or give you sugarcoating and say it's not going to happen because I don't want to freak people out. Folks, I'm going to tell you information if it freaks you out or not. That's just how it's going to be, because I want you to know what you're getting yourselves into. I promise you, there is no tornado threat up there in north central Arkansas right now. There's not. There's no tornado threat. I have no reason to lie to you about it. I have no reason to be sugarcoating about it. There's no tornado threat up there tonight. There is. Now tomorrow, different story, different situation, different system. But this, no. North Arkansas, there's no tornado threat here. And I understand that has happened before, and there are certain situations that does occur. But this go around, no. No tornado threat up there in north central Arkansas at this current time, okay?
So I'm going to go ahead and interject again, and maybe I'm wrong, but if that line was further up and your conditions were, if it was 80 degrees in Little Rock, I would say yes. Yep. There is a possibility of tornadoes. And yes, we are all human beings. We do use technology. We do rely on technology, probably more than we should a lot of times.
Yep.
There have been times, even whenever Cam and I have both been out in the field, and we've seen things lower. We've seen storms.
Yep.
And it's not been tornado warned. It does still happen. Unfortunately, in 2025, it does still happen. However, the conditions are not favorable in this area. In 50-degree weather, like he has said time and time before, you're just not going to get any tornadoes in this condition. You're just not. It's kind of like getting a tornado in a snowstorm. You're just not going to get it. I mean,
exactly. And that's a professional stormation that you're listening to right now.
Yeah.
She would be the first one to tell you if there was a tornado threat before me.
If there was a tornado threat, I would be gone out that door. I would not be hanging out with you in studio in Central Arkansas.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So I'm double checking, making sure, Heidi, I will bring that up coming up here in just a little bit. Suggestions what to do so there will be a situation if you're under a flood warning and you're under a tornado warning here. Now, there's a lot of storm shelters nowadays, 2025, that have above ground storm shelters. Our sponsor, literally right under me, Tornado Shelter Systems, has above ground shelters for that particular reason, because if you're in a situation where it's flooding, but then you have a tornado warning, you want to get to a higher ground with flooding, but you want to get as low as possible with a tornado. That will be a situation, man, that's really tricky. That's why they have those above ground shelters and stuff like that. You try to get to a higher level. But you also want to make sure that whatever building you're in at that higher level is at the lowest part, if that makes sense.
Get to the highest level
of
elevation,
right,
or of whatever sturdy structure you can get to.
Yep.
Again, whether it be, if you're in, and I know this is just throwing something out, but if you're in the Delta, get somewhere that's got higher elevation, that's higher up.
Yeah. Exactly. So let me see here. The lower clouds moving south is that normal when a storm is moving north. I'm not sure where your location is. So you're looking at this on our sky cam here. You see those clouds just kind of moving. We're looking south. So they're moving from, that's going to be east.
Those clouds are moving west.
Yeah, moving east to west. So what's going on is you have easterly winds right now, and it's pushing those clouds off to the west. That means we're still north of the boundary. Now on the horizon, I saw it earlier, but on the horizon you can see clearing. That boundary is moving north. This boundary will move north later on tonight and into tomorrow. I don't think that you're going to see a situation where you have overnight storms or overnight tornado outbreak or anything like that, because you're going to have an inversion. But you're also going to have a tornado threat tomorrow. So I know it's confusing. This is why I don't like talking about risk days in advance, stuff like that, when we have one right now, because it leads to mass confusion in the public. But the biggest thing is, tonight, if you are in this green zone up here, wind and hail threat, no tornado threat, okay? If you are down in southern Arkansas, that's where your tornado threat is going to materialize, okay? That's exactly where that tornado threat is going to materialize tomorrow. Not tomorrow, tonight, and going into tomorrow. But if you live in that green zone, just for tonight, there is not a tornado threat up there in north central Arkansas, northeast Arkansas. And like I said, I know there's situations where you've had one with little or no warning. Folks, I'm begging y'all, okay? Trust us. There's a storm chaser here. I'm here. We have an entire team that's watching data and everything like that. Have trust in us. If we say there's no tornado threat, there's no tornado threat. It's 55 degrees, guys. It's going to be almost impossible to get a tornado threat at 55 degrees.
Even your severe thunderstorm warning on Camden has been dropped.
Correct. Exactly. So that's what we mean, guys. Okay. So please trust us, guys. Okay. We get it. We know the anxiety is through the roof right now. Folks, if there was a tornado threat, we'd be the first one to tell you. That's just how it is. Okay. So right now, I think that's pretty much it. In terms of that, we've gone over what to do. I'm going to go over to the graphic system real quick. Let me kind of speed blitz through this real quick. I'm going to have this graphic up, okay? Prepare in advance. Go over your severe weather safety tips. That's the number one thing I want everybody to do right now, okay? Go over that stuff. And a lot of people love waiting to the last possible second to do things. Stop waiting to the last possible second. That's why I'm going to be straightforward with you. That's why your anxiety and stuff is through the roof. When you wait to the last possible second to do something, then you're having to scramble, trying to get everything together and everything like that. I don't know about y'all, but that stresses me out. If I have to wait to the last second to do something and then trying to do a billion things at once. Prepare in advance. If you get that lined out and you know where to go, and you know what to do, it's going to make things easier. Is it going to kill storm anxiety? No. Lord, no. But is it going to make it easier on you? 1,000%. Because you're not having to scramble to get to shelter. You're not having to do all that. You've already prepared in advance. You've already did what you needed to do. And all you got to do is just simply just walk to it. And you're good. Okay? So know where your family and know where you are will take shelter, severe weather strikes, and have a safety supply kit. Okay? Multiple warning sources as well. We love you guys to death. I'm glad y'all are joining us. We've had over 12,000 people join us over the last 24 hours. I love every single one of y'all to pieces. But I want you guys to have multiple warning sources here. We don't compete with anybody else in the state or anything like that. You know, have multiple ways to get warnings outside of us. Because there's a situation, we could be dealing with a warning here, but then, you know, you're in Camden somewhere and we don't talk about you. Have a way to get a warning if we're not talking about you, okay? And also know your local geography, guys, okay? Know where you live. Know where your counties are. Know your towns. It makes it so much easier. We are trying to make your life as easy as possible, but you've got to meet us halfway, okay? Like I said, these tips are not going to 100% kill storm anxiety. It's not. Folks, you're just going to, like, coming from someone that deals with it, you know, it's not going to completely get rid of it, but it's going to make your life so much easier. It's going to make it so much easier on you if you do these simple tips. I promise you. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this graphic up here because we've already talked about all this, which will be on the page, by the way. I want to bring this graphic up here. I thought I had it. There it is. This graphic right here is something that I want everybody in Arkansas to have. Special shout out to Arkansas Air Expeditions for this graphic.
Thank you, Elijah.
Yeah, thank you, Elijah, for this graphic. You know, Northwest Arkansas, North Central, Northeast, Central, Southeast, and Southwest Arkansas, okay? Know your counties. Know where you are. Folks, I'm begging y'all. It's going to make things so much easier on you, on your family, on your friends. That's how it's going to be. Stop ignoring this stuff until the last possible second because that's what drives your anxiety through the roof. It makes it so much worse if you wait to the last possible second to react. And then you ask us trying to answer your question, and we can't do it because there's other warnings going on in the state right now, okay? So go over this stuff tonight, especially my folks in North and Central Arkansas that are temperatures in the 50s. You know, get a situation, get some dinner, relax, you know, do something to take your mind off of all that anxiety and go over your severe weather safety plans tonight, guys, okay? Because we got stuff that's going tomorrow. We got stuff that's going to happen on Saturday. You know, when we're in tornado warning coverage, we don't answer specific questions here. It's up to you guys to make sure that you have a way to get alerts. Stop waiting to the last possible second to do things. I'm telling you this for your sake, for your storm anxiety sake. I'm telling you this. If you wait to the last possible second, it makes your anxiety triple to what it would normally be, okay? If you wait, and not wait, if you prepare ahead, I love this comment from Ashley. If you prepare ahead of time, it's going to make things so much easier on y'all, okay?
100%.
So Other than that, right now, we're going to just kind of move everything over to radar updates. Just kind of chill, relax, get our evening crew in, and kind of watch things down in South Arkansas, get ready for tomorrow. That's all I got for you guys right now from Jamie, myself, our entire team. We'll continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.